You make $100,000 a year? Well, let's break down what that looks like from an affordability standpoint when purchasing a home, what the forecasted appreciation of that particular home is, the cost of waiting if you decide not to buy right now, and also, is it better to rent versus buy at this point in time? Hey there, I'm Angelo Dotsaris, a Charlotte mortgage broker with Leverage Lending Group. In today's video, we are going to break down the home buying process from start to finish. Hopefully this will help clear up any questions that you have about how much home you can afford, the type of homes that are available in that price range, and any upfront investments that are needed. Because I'm the mortgage guy that you need to speak with when you're starting your home buying journey. If you have any specific scenario questions, let's say your income is around $52,000 a year and you're wondering what that looks like for home affordability in Charlotte, I can definitely help you out with that as well. Click the tab right here to go to my website. You can click on the home purchase qualifier to submit information. If you still have any questions or are unsure about things, you can click the pinned comment below. My phone number is in there. Reach out to me about it. I'd be more than happy to help. So let's get with the meat and potatoes today with this information. I'm not talking about $52,000. We're going to talk about a $100,000 income scenario right now. As we stated, I'm going to be using a $100,000 wage earner right now. So let's take a look at what that looks like in home affordability. So we have a $100,000 annual income. Interest rate, before we got on this, I went ahead and priced out what this would look like. 6.875 are the rates today. Length of loan, 30 years. Why am I choosing a 30-year? People want to use or want to have the lowest payment possible, and we get that with a 30-year loan. We have many options, 5, 10, 15, 20, even 23, 16, whatever, but we're going to use a 30-year because people want the lowest payments, which will get them the biggest home, right? The down payment. I'm going to use $20,000 because somebody with a $100,000 income can very easily put $20,000 down for a down payment. Now, the monthly obligations, I'm going to use $500 per month because I'm going to think maybe they have a couple credit cards or maybe just one credit card and a car loan. So we're going to use that right now. That can go up or down with different obligations, and we can take a look at that as well. Property taxes, we're going to use, I'm going to just kind of spitball right now, and I'm going to use about $3,000 for property taxes annually. Homeowners insurance right now, we're going to use $1,300. Now, the DTI tolerance, I'm going to put 46.99. Why am I putting 46.99? Because maximum DTI guidelines for conventional financing is about 46.99 is where we see the threshold. Does that mean you should max it out? Absolutely not. But I'm just using this as an example so you can kind of see. Maintenance fee. Not really sure what that's going to be, but I'm going to leave this zero for right this second. Mortgage insurance. We're definitely going to have mortgage insurance because that is not going to be a 20% down payment. So we're going to put a 0.19 factor on that. So as you can see here, with $100,000 of income, $500 per month in monthly obligations, property tax, $3,000, $1,300 insurance, they can go up to roughly, let's bring this up just a little bit, 40, right there. 473 is a little over budget with a purchase price of a home. That does not mean that you should purchase a property for that amount. We're going to back this down where you feel comfortable. And that's the main thing that I do when we're looking at purchase prices, your payments, your obligations, your debt to income ratios. I ask you, what do you feel comfortable with payment-wise? Because you want to have some discretionary income, you want to have disposable income, you want to go on some trips. My question to you is, where do you feel comfortable? Usually, in my experience, I'm seeing debt to income ratio around the 40% mark, right? So if you look at this right here, $400,000, give or take, is going to be around that 40% mark. Now, it is based on your comfortability level, but I'm just using this as a scenario right here. So $400,000 is a budget. You know, if you want to max it out, we can go to 470. We'll see what that looks like. But let's just use 400K right now for a purchase price. Try to get as close as possible. So your total payment, taxes, insurance, mortgage insurance, just shy of $3,000. When you break this down, the closing costs, we're going to go ahead and drop that down just a little bit as well. You're probably going to be sitting right around $27,000. So from the affordability calculator, we're going to be taking that information and let's just hop into Zillow. I'm not partial or biased against or for Zillow, but it's just what everybody knows. So let's go ahead and look at properties in Charlotte, North Carolina. home. So we're going to do a range of purchase prices between $350,000 to $450,000. 3-bed, 2-bath, because that is the most common bed and bath type out there that people look for. And we're going to do home types. We're not going to look at manufactured lots, condos, multifamily. We're just going to look at houses and townhouses. So let's do a quick apply here. Wow. Okay. A lot comes up. A lot of people say that there's not a lot of availability in Charlotte, but as you can see here, there is. So this property right here, $367,000. It's 3-bed, 3-bath. So let's go ahead and click on this one. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the inside. This is a nice house. It looks spacious. It's roomy. I mean, it's got clean carpets, hardwoods, nice backyard. You could put a fence around there if you need to, build a deck. It looks like it's got new paint throughout. I haven't read the listing yet, but I mean, the pictures look fantastic. For $367,000. This is a cute property. So let's go back to this listing. Let's see what. So yeah, $25 a month in HOA, which is dirt cheap. You know, if you're looking at a townhouse or a condo, you're definitely paying in upwards of $250 to maybe even $350 per month in HOA dues. All right, so we're going to take that information from Zillow and we're going to plug it into the real estate report card. Just to make a few notes of some highlighted facts here. We have some forecasted appreciation and we have the median household income in and around the Charlotte area. $88,154 for the median income. Not the high, not the low. It's basically smack dab right there in between. Anybody with that type of income should be able to reasonably afford this property, which, as you can see, we can. $367,000. The appreciation is something else that I would like you to take a look at. This is the forecasted appreciation by MBS Highway. We're going to take a look at some things here. So if we look at the historical appreciation, which was very good because of COVID, crazy appreciation with low interest rates, people fighting for homes and all that. So that's why we see the big appreciation numbers right here. Historical 5-year, that's definitely for the COVID mark here, 48%. The forecasted and the historical appreciation. I am going to use the forecasted appreciation on this, which is, as you can see, just a little bit lower. So I'm not giving you all the bells and whistles of the last 63 years. I'm just looking at the forecasted appreciation because things have slowed down slightly. As we can see here, we're just going to update that number. $73,000 5-year gain in appreciation. Who wouldn't want to take advantage of that? Okay, so from that information and from the real estate report card, we're going to go ahead and look at the cost of waiting. What is the cost of waiting? The cost of waiting is if you don't buy a property right now, what it will cost you in the future. The difference is when it comes to sales price, payments, and things like that. So what the cost of waiting on this particular property looks like. This address, $367,000. The annual property taxes is $2,425. You have to pay that to the local, state, and government to own the property. So that is something that you will pay annually. The homeowner's insurance is, we're going to use about $145 per month. The association fees, which I took from the data from Zillow, is $25 a month. And we're going to use the forecast appreciation, not the historical, the forecast. I don't want to use the bigger number. I want you to look to see what that looks like with the lower number and if it makes sense to you. So we're going to name this. We're going to name this Test 100K. The down payment will be $20,000 as we took from the home affordability calculator with somebody making $100,000. So we're going to use $20,000. Conventional fixed, we're going to use 6.875 rate. I'm just going to use 0.5 points here. Points to get that property. It is the cost to get the loan. The mortgage insurance, we're going to use, let's see if this worksheet will come up here. We're going to use a 0.19 factor because I looked that up prior to doing this to make sure that everything was correct. Closing costs, I'm going to spitball here, $7,000 for all the closing costs when it comes to your attorney fees, appraisal fees, third-party fees, taxes, and insurance, which are considered your escrow. And your escrow is something that you pay in with your mortgage every month, to where when the annual bills come due for your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance, that will get paid by your mortgage company. You can choose not to escrow, but that is up to you. Credits, prepaids, and escrows. So I'm just going to kind of include that in the total closing costs there, not broken out. So as you can see here, let's go to the next page, which now brings me to the cost of waiting, buying now versus waiting 1 year. So I wanted to break this down to you. This is actually taking into account purchasing now versus waiting years. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here. Today, you're buying that property at $367,000. Look at the difference in the actual sales price. So you're going to be paying $10,000 more for the property by waiting 1 year because of appreciation. So you'd be missing out on that. Your down payment is going to go up a little bit because you're waiting. And this is just 1 year. So I'm going to put a 2-year difference in here. So we have today, waiting 1 year, and then waiting 2 years. So I'm going to highlight today, 367. If you wait 1 year, at 377. And if you wait 2 years, it's going to be basically $391,000 that you're going to be paying for that property. So why would you want to wait to purchase a property just because you think interest rates are high? As you can see here, if you waited 2 years, you got a better interest rate. You stayed on that fence. You were waiting for rates to fall, but you're paying much more for that property. Let's kind of scroll up to the top. Now, if you wait 2 years versus buying right now, the benefits of buying now are you're almost $20,000 in the positive if you purchase right now versus waiting 2 years. So you're at an appreciation gain of $24,000. Even if you refinanced, the cost to refinance, let's say around $4,000, you're still money ahead. So at the start of this, we were looking at $100,000 income and what you can afford. We looked at a property that is obtainable in the Charlotte and surrounding area. We looked at the real estate report card for that particular property, looked at the forecasted appreciation, the payments. We also looked at the cost of waiting. Now, if you're not convinced if it's your time to buy or not, let's just go ahead and look at a buy versus rent calculator to see if that may kind of help you get off the fence when it comes to purchasing a property or maybe continuing to rent. So we're going to look at this same $100,000 borrower. The location is 6214 Purbeck Way in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm not sure why it says Silverback. 367 purchase value. Next. Whoa. So we are going to look at what it looks like to buy versus rent. We're going to go ahead and look at all of these tabs here to make sure that everything is correct. We have our $100,000 a year earner. The property we're going to look at here, $367,000. The property tax is correct, $145 in insurance, $25 in HOA fees. Let's just say monthly repairs $100. Cost to sell, it's 5%. The forecasted appreciation, we could use a higher amount, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to use the 3.346 based on MBS Highways data. The renting is in the Charlotte area. We are going to be looking for this type of property, this much room, 3-bed, 2-bath. We are definitely getting $2,300 to $2,500. So we're just going to use middle of the road here, $2,385. 36% or $36 for rent insurance, and the national rent renewal is about 4.5%. So we'll leave that even as well. The loan information, we'll make sure that this is correct. It's a 6.875 rate. We're going to use 0.5 in points. We got the MI at 145, the closing costs, which does include taxes, prepaids, all that. Let's back this down to 5 years first. Year 1, year 2, you're going to be in the hole a little bit when you're talking about buy versus rent because you do have those upfront loading costs when it comes to down payment, closing costs, etc. But now, year 5, your net gain, as you can see here, is $55,000. So let's look at depreciation. And this is after 5 years. So that $367,000 property that you purchased in 5 years is now worth $440,000. That's a no-brainer. Cash flow difference is negative 87.72 because that is the difference between the mortgage payment and the rent, because of course the mortgage payment is going to be a little bit higher, but you are getting way more bang for your buck in the long run. Right here, as you can see, the total renting versus total buying, it's not that bad, right? You're only looking at an $8,000 in the hole if you were to rent, but what are you getting with that rent? Zero. You're paying 100% interest. You're taking nothing from that rental, that apartment, that home that you're renting. You're getting nothing from that in 5 years. But as you can see, in 5 years, you're getting $55,000 in appreciation. That alone should help you tip yourself off the fence to want to purchase a home. Of course, if you have the means to do so. And in this particular scenario, my $100,000 wage earner, very easily obtainable for this. Now, as you can see from year 1 and year 3 to year 5, renting versus buying, it is going to be more beneficial to buy because your rent is always going to go up. The only difference with the mortgage payment, the only things that are going to change are going to be your property taxes and insurance. That mortgage payment, if you never refinance, is always going to stay the same. So this is over 5 years. Let's tip this up from 5 years to 9 years. And man, what a difference this shows you right here. So in 9 years, you're at almost $150,000 in net gain by purchasing a property. If you're renting in 9 years, what do you get with that rent? Zero. So as you can see here, the appreciation gain is $126,000 with forecasted appreciation. Now, this is a huge deal right here because we were in the hole initially when you're looking at buying versus renting when it comes to your payment, your rent payment versus your mortgage payment. So right here, with an annual rent increase, and if you never refinanced in 9 years, you are $11,000 in the positive by purchasing versus renting. Even with mortgage, with increases in taxes and insurance, and the payment increase with your rent, your money ahead. $27.87 for rent. For buying, and then renting is $24.21. Fast forward 9 years, your payment hasn't stayed. Your payment really hasn't moved up too much when you're buying to $28.22. But your rent has gone up basically $1,000. So now that we broke down what it looks like to buy versus rent, and I broke down what it was basically from start to finish if you have $100,000 income, we looked at your affordability with $100,000, to what properties are available, to what that property looks like with the forecasted appreciation, what the markets are doing, the cost of waiting, all of that information. I broke that down for you. So I wanted to be helpful for you because if you were in the market to purchase a property, this is everything that you need to make an informed decision on, should I wait or should I buy? If you have any questions, click the pinned comment down below to send me a message. I'll be more than happy to help you out in your home ownership journey.